Welcome to Icons. Today we examine the successful financial life of Reginald Lewis. A well-trained corporate lawyer would begin his career, quickly rising to fame, coming to the rescue for a young Dr. Benjamin Chavis. After successfully defending Dr. Ben Chavis, Reginald Lewis would go on to pour all of his energy into creating an empire that would serve the community. Reginald Lewis would rally the Beatrice Food Empire to a whopping $985 million in value. Reginald Lewis wrote a manual to his success, a Business Week bestseller called Why Should the White Guys Have All the Fun? The success of the brilliant Harvard-educated lawyer would be short-lived due to the death from a brain tumor. He was only 50 years old.
Keep going to build a better society in America, to be a compassionate America, that you keep going no matter what.
Give me the green light, give me just one night. I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go right now.
Welcome to Icons. Today we examine the adventurous life of inventor, mogul, hero, Garrett Morgan. Garrett Morgan was born in 1877 in the state of Kentucky. Garrett spent his teenage years as a handyman for landowners. Garrett Morgan earned an awesome reputation as a handyman. People would advise him to move to other towns, and he would move to Cleveland, Ohio to repair sewing machines. Once in Cleveland, young Garrett would repair sewing machines for a living. A major problem that many sewing machines had was the needle would burn the fabric because of the friction of the speed of the needle's movement. Garrett Morgan would work with a solution that would create a high polish on the needles. The universe is full of happy accidents. This high polish prevented the burn on the garments as the machine was sewing. Working with the solution one night, Garrett Morgan accidentally found out that this solution straightens hair. He would invent the perm. After developing the perm, Garrett Morgan would develop black dye for hair as well as the iron tooth comb, the straightening comb. One thing that separated Garrett Morgan from other inventors is that he owned his inventions and created marketing companies to promote them. Garrett Morgan was a successful man around the early part of the turn of the century. He was one of the few black men in town that owned his own automobile. One day, at a crossway, Garrett Morgan noticed an accident. The chaos of people with horses, automobiles, and bicycles sharing the same roadway. He would develop the stoplight. Yes, other stop lamps existed. Garrett Morgan's version was a triple direction stop lamp with multiple colors, and he received a patent for it in 1923. Garrett Morgan's version of the traffic control signal was easy to mass produce and inexpensive to make. So it was Garrett Morgan's version of the traffic control signal that was introduced to the world. One day, Garrett Morgan noticed a fire. He noticed how firemen suffered from the smoke inhalation. So he created a smoke hood. Garrett Morgan filed a patent for the device in 1912, then started his own company to market the device, the National Safety Device Company. After receiving a patent, Garrett Morgan will receive an award and honor from the International Association of Fire Chiefs, a gold medal. Apart from all of his fame, all of his fortune, it would be the day of July 24th, 1916, that was destined to go down in infamy. Garrett Morgan, his brother, and two other men would lead a rescue mission to an exploded tunnel under Lake Erie. Previous attempts to rescue men from the tunnel went awry. Garrett Morgan was woken up in the middle of the night and asked to bring as many smoke hoods as he could. Garrett Morgan grabbed his brother and two other men and went to the tunnel. Garrett Morgan arrived at the tunnel in his pajamas with his brother and two other men in tow and the gas masks. Onlookers doubted that his contraption would work. Garrett Morgan, his brother, and the two other men stormed into the tunnel, grabbed some men that were fallen, and brought them out alive. After the rescue was a complete success, Garrett Morgan and his crew did not receive the proper celebration, the proper credit it was due. The white establishment and the white government gave medals and honors to other people in the rescue mission. Regardless of suppression, Garrett Morgan would still receive the credit he was due. Word would leak out, and he would receive orders for his gas mask and smoke hood from every firehouse across the nation. Garrett Morgan, mogul, inventor, hero.
Woman, practice what you preach. This bag of telephone talk, I'm dying for reach. Face to face we must meet, man. If it's on the beach.
Welcome to Icons. Today we examine the powerful life of stateswoman, genius, inventor, Shirley Ann Jackson. Shirley Ann Jackson, born August 5th, 1946, grew up in an environment where scholastics mattered to two parents that were educators. Years before her enrollment, young Shirley aimed her sights at one of the most prestigious universities in America, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Young Shirley would be greatly affected by the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. She would go on to MIT to form the first Black Student Union. The platform for the Black Student Union included minority enrollment, expansion on minority faculty, financial aid, and student affairs. Shirley Ann Jackson was one of 20 African-American students at MIT and the only African-American woman studying theoretical physics. Shirley Ann Jackson would make history by being the first African-American woman in the country to receive a doctorate in physics. Young Shirley Ann Jackson would become the first African-American woman to earn a doctorate at MIT in any field. Having a strong background in physics, Shirley Ann Jackson would begin her career at Fermilab and quickly move on to be recruited at CERN. Then came the big leagues. From 1976 to 1991, Shirley Ann Jackson would be employed at Bell Laboratories. Shirley Ann Jackson would recruit a team and make breakthroughs in technology still in use today. The portable fax, the touch-tone telephone, solar cells, fiber optic cells, caller ID, and call waiting. In addition to fiber optics, Shirley Ann Jackson helped develop broadband for internet. In 1995, Shirley Ann Jackson would be appointed by then-President Bill Clinton, head of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. In 2009, Shirley Ann Jackson was appointed by President Barack Obama as an advisor on the President's Council on Science and Technology. Shirley Jackson became the 18th president of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. She is the first woman as well as the first African-American to hold this position, and she still holds this position to this day. Inventor, scholar, stateswoman, genius, Shirley Ann Jackson. Welcome to Chocolate TV. Today we're going to talk about, for a brief moment, the brilliant life of inventor, African-American inventor, Lewis Latimer. Welcome to Icon.
I don't want to write this down. I don't want to tell you how I feel right now.
Lewis Latimer was a brilliant African-American inventor that was born in Massachusetts, September 4th, 1848. He was one of the very few, if not the only African-American to be inducted into Edison's brilliant genius crew of inventors. Lewis Latimer will also go down in history for creating the filament for the light bulb, as well as designs for Alexander Graham Bell's telephone. Without him, these things wouldn't happen. The light bulb and the telephone. He was also inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame. Lewis Latimer, look him up. How you doing? Welcome to Chocolate TV. Today we're going to talk about the interesting life of South African freedom fighter, activist, Stephen Biko. Welcome to Icons.
Linden Boulevard, represent, Tribe Called Quest, represent. When the mic is in my hand, I'm never hesitant. My favorite jam back in the day was Eric B. for president.
Stephen Biko was born December 18th, 1946. He was inspired by the African-American freedom fighter movement in America. Stephen Biko's biggest concern was, why do white liberals take care of our racial concerns and get in the way of our matters? He was a medical student that cared about his country people's health. Stephen Biko's best friend would go on to write a best-selling book about his life, become the subject of the movie Cry Freedom, starring Denzel Washington.
A clinic for black people, staffed by black people, run by a black doctor.
Was this her idea or yours?
Come on, let me show you around.
Stephen Biko. Welcome to Icons. Today we warm it up with the ingenuity and creations of David Crosswaith, the African-American inventor that created the heating system for Radio City Music Hall and the Rockefeller Center. David N. Crosswaith was born May 27, 1898 in Nashville, Tennessee. David went on to complete high school and seek higher education at Purdue University. Through his awesome educational efforts, he earned a full scholarship where he'd receive a master's degree in engineering. After graduating from college with many honors, David would seek fortune and move to Marshalltown, Iowa, where he worked for the Dunham Company, designing and installing heating systems. As David's career heated up in the 30s, he invented a vacuum pump, the boiler, all effective heating systems for large buildings. And while at the company, he would invent the system for the Radio City Music Hall and the Rockefeller Center in New York City. Inventor, engineer, hot boy.